Today, we're going to talk about Ollas. They are very old, and the title of this is Ancient Wisdom for Modern Water Conservation. And there you go. It's pronounced Oya, although over the years I have pronounced it as Ollas, not realizing that I was incorrect in that. So today I will try to say Oya, but if I lapse back, you can say, uh-oh, you lapse back. But what is an Oya? It's really a very ancient technique practiced in various dry and arid parts of the world, places like Africa, Pakistan, India, Iran, parts of our South America, and parts of Mexico, and more. It has been mentioned in one of the first Chinese agricultural texts as old as 2,000 years. So if it was mentioned 2,000 years ago in text, then evidently it's even older than that. What is it? It's a porous, unglazed clay pot buried in the soil, filled with water and covered up at the top, and the water slowly seeps through the walls of the pot. And of course, like I said, it was an ancient irrigation method used in China, Africa, and the Americas, anywhere it was dry. So it's really ancient technology that is helping, I think, with modern sustainability. OERs rely on the natural forces of nature and of the world and making them simple and effective. This ancient technique conserves water and supports plant health. And, if you're using this type of technology, you are preserving this tradition. And it also ensures that you're also helping water use, you're conserving water use and making water use sustainable. Okay, so let's take a look at what we've got here, water movement through the soil. Of course, if you didn't know, you now know, nature strives to be in an equilibrium. Everything wants to be balanced or tries to balance itself out. And so the Oyas rely on that principle. The soil outside of the Oya draws the water through its porous wall into the surrounding soil. So it's sort of like natural atmospheric pressure is at work. The Oya releases the water into the soil, and it will continue to release until the soil reaches field capacity, or it just can't take any more. These things prevent overwatering, so it'll prevent getting your plants too wet, and also it will help in underwatering, so that your plants will not reach that wilting point. But the key thing there is you keep it full of water. It's a delicate system that requires no man-made energy once you get this in place, to make it work. However, we do need to add the water from time to time. So the soil around the Ola draws the water through the pot's wall. Water is only released when the surrounding soil is dry and there's no wastewater from evaporation or runoff. It's based on capillary action, as it's the water from the Ola spreads several inches due to capillary action. So it won't just stay right around the Oya, I think I said Ola, but it will spread because of the capillary action at work. And the roots will detect the moisture and they will grow to it. So the benefits are efficient water usage, promotes deep root growth, reduces weed growth, because the weeds, if they do start, of course, they'll have to outcompete the plant for the water there, but in theory, you'll have your plant started before the weeds. So, and it's fairly low maintenance. Now, we do have to consider what type of plants are best for it. And as you might think, any plant that has a very fibrous or adventitious root system is the very best to use. Also, one that has a canopy overhead, like the leaves and everything spread out overhead, because that will help keep the soil cool and help with that water retention there. So you see the fibrous roots there, of course, tomatoes, herbs, anything like that, kale, a lot of vegetables, peppers, squash, but you can even do flowers for this. And that is what I have used it for here at our extension office. I had a little flower bed that was up against a wall that got the western sun. And I mean, you could just bake just about anything there. And so I put a couple of Ollas in there with some of my flowers that I was trying to grow just to see how well it would do. And it really did. It provided water when this environment was very extreme for them. So they did pretty well as long as I remembered to add more water. So here's just another diagram of the closer you plant to an Olla, that's going to mean the higher concentration of water there is. So if you've got some thirsty plants, let's say you have a garden and you're actually planting in a big circle, but you can think about this as well. Your thirsty plants like squash and zucchini, melons, tomatoes, all those that take up a lot of water and are made up of a lot of water, you want to plant those close to the Olla. So it gets a lot of water. And then as you move out, you can see that the water gets less. So about 2 feet, and of course, this also depends on the size of the yo-yo, but at 2 feet, you still have water in there, but it's not that quite as concentrated as it is right next to the vessel itself. So how is this done? Well, we already know we need an unglazed pot. You can bury the Olla in your garden bed, fill it with water. You want to cover the opening if you can to prevent debris and mosquitoes from getting into it. Also, you can refill it. Remember to refill it every few days, depending on climate and plant needs, but depending on the weather that is there. If you're getting rain, you don't really need to refill your Olla. It hasn't been drawing from it. So key points on Olla efficiency, water savings. You can have up to 50 to 70% less water than, or uses 50 to 70% less water than surface irrigation like sprinklers or drip lines. Has very low evaporation, very low. It's minimal. Since the water is released underground, surface evaporation, if not just not there, it's very minimal. You get precise moisture delivery. Only the plants only take the water that they need via that capillary action that we were talking. So you're not overwatering them. You're reducing that sometimes overwatering that happens when you have irrigation going or you're out there with the watering can watering. Low maintenance too. Once it's buried and filled, and that may be the biggest part of it, is that you have to bury it in your garden, and then you also have to make sure it's continually filled. Ollas need refilling only every other few days, and that's what I found. Every few days, say like 2 days, but you have to remember my little microclimate back there was westerly sun, up against a wall, a concrete foundation. So it gets very hot there. So I did have to refill mine a little bit more. And then, of course, it all depends on the weather and the type of soil. Now, they do come with some disadvantages. We want to think about this. Of course, they need to be buried to work. So they do take up space in small gardens. So if you're in a small garden, it doesn't mean that you can't use this technology, ancient technology, but you probably will have to just make a few changes in the types of vessels that you use. You do have to fill them by hand usually. You know, it can be time consuming. If you forget to check them or if you go on vacation, it can lead to issues like no water for your plants. So that's something that you need to think about and maybe plan ahead for, ask a neighbor to come over and check them, or some other kind of thing that you can come up with and make sure that your plants will still be getting their water. Also, just like clay pots where you have your house plants in, I remember violets, especially in my mom's house, the clay pots. You'd see those little white salts that build up on them. Well, that same thing can happen to an Oya. And of course, that's going to clog it. And then if you were planning on using this for like a seedling situation where you're getting seeds started, you may have to water those seedlings while you have the Ola in place until their roots really start to reach down and can get into the soil and detect that water and move that way. Now, if you wanted to purchase one of these online, I just took a screenshot of I just Googled in purchase Oya, and all of these things popped up. Now, when I bought mine, and I wanted to show you all that we're having issues with or I'm having issues with my camera today. Uh, they were hard to find. This was the only one I found, and I just sort of came across it by mistake. And I've always been interested in pottery and everything, and I was reading about it. I thought, oh, that would be cool. I think I'll try that. But it was the only one out there at the time. Maybe there was another brand, but now you can, everywhere you go, they've got them, and they range in all kinds of prices. As you can see, you've got a $9.97 back to the roots. But also you've got the terrain terracotta watering Ollas set of 3. Now it's $48 and it's from Anthropology. It looks rather small, so that would be maybe for a houseplant, but it does look, it's very aesthetically pleasing, has a nice little cork top in it. But so you can just about find any kind of price range and size, and also, how they look and that sort of thing. Okay, make it yourself. You can make this yourself. And what you need are some unglazed clay pots, probably 2, or you do need 2. If you're making more than these, you'll need more than that. That comes with, you can get a saucer because the saucer can be used as a lid, but you don't necessarily need the saucer. And you're also going to need some waterproof caulk or a silicone sealant. I know we have an aquarium or had an aquarium that started to leak, and we actually used some silicone sealant, and it did very well in sealing it, and it did not bother the fish at all. So, I think you can find something that'll be good. Won't harm your plants, but will also be very good for this situation. You want to use this waterproof sealant to plug that drain hole in just one of the pots. So you're going to plug that up. You want to ensure that you get enough in there that you got a really tight seal to prevent leaks. And then I think now this will be according to the label directions, but you do have to allow time for it to dry or to cure out. Because I think if you use it too early and you haven't followed those label directions, it may sort of melt before with the water in it before it can actually set up. So that's something you want to consider. Now, using the pot with the sealed drainage hole, and now we're going to grab the other clay pot that you have, and if they're the same size, that's good. I didn't mention that before, but you want to connect them. So you would spread the sealant along the top of the pot, either one. In this case, I think I just said, in the one that has the hole in it or the sealed hole. And then you place the other one on top of that and press it down and make sure you get a good connection there with it. I think you could probably go around and clean up the outer edge of it, so it doesn't look all gloopy. But, you want to make sure that you get a good seal and create a watertight seal there. And then you need to allow this again to dry and let it set up and cure out very well, so that you're going to have something that looks like 2 clay pots, one on top of the other, opposite. So one will have a sealed bottom and the top one will have the little hole in the top of it. Now you can add a lid. If you've got saucers, you can pop the saucers on top of it when you need it. I mean, you could even get a spaghetti glass jar lid and put over top of it, anything like that. Or I thought, in keeping with the naturalness of it, you can put a large pebble on there. And I have done that before. Just put a large pebble that I had in the landscape and put it on top of there. And actually, it sort of looks almost sculptural in some cases. But this on the top of the lid, the saucer, the aluminum can top or whatever, or even if it's a pebble, its sole job is to help prevent evaporation, but also help prevent any debris from getting in it and any insects crawling in it, or could have mosquitoes crawl in there and lay their eggs. So it'll help prevent that. So you could even use these Ollas in containers. This picture is from Native Seed, which is online. They have a lot of seeds and things that they're trying to bring back, and it's in the native Southwest, out that way. But they had this picture showing that you could even use your little clay pot contraption that you built. You can use it in containers, and like for tomatoes. Remember, tomatoes have those fiber root systems. And if a tomato is in a pot, it probably needs, you need to double check any plant in a pot. You always need to double check the moisture because they do evaporate more quickly, and water capacity, you don't have that capacity there to hold that water in there. So this shows the tomatoes, great for container grown plants. It'll still water when you're away, as long as you're not away very long, or unless you have other things. Now, I liked this because I like to have a little mint plant around, but they just, if you're not very careful, they can get away from you and just take over a flower bed or the side of your house where your water spigot is. They could just go crazy. So in this case, you can plant your mint in a large container and put your Olla in the middle of it. And so the outer pot will help contain the roots, so there's no spreading. And then the Olla actually helps keep the mint plants evenly moist, because that's what they like. They like it just an evenly moist soil. A lot of them, if you've ever been along a creek or a stream bank and you see mint, they're right there on the edge where they just constantly get that even moisture. So this can be very helpful if you're a gardener who loves herbs or mint, or if you're a cook, you use it for culinary purposes, have it handy. So it wasn't very long. I want to say thank you. And does anyone have any questions about this method? I mean, it's just very simple, but it makes a lot of sense.